Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So, today we will discuss something on Lord Chaitanya's childhood pastimes, and towards the end we will see maybe Madhavendra Puri's Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So Krishna Kaviraj Goswami in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita mentions about how just with the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, anyone can understand the deep contexts of the philosophical understanding. Balopiyat anugrahat. So even if somebody is very small and young, they can still understand. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as a small kid, does a lot of pastimes. So we can chant this: Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So, just as Krishna was born to Mother Yashoda, like that, Nimai or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born to Mother Sachi, and Narottam Das Thakur says that Brajendra Nandana Yai Sachi Sutta Hoila Sei, Balarama Hoila Nitai. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, and in the beginning chapters, Krishna Kaviraj Goswami establishes the supremacy of Lord Chaitanya as Krishna, and also he establishes the supremacy of Lord Balaram, and same as Nityananda. And towards this end of the Adi Lila, he mentions it comes to chronologically, he reaches the childhood pastimes. So, normally we can understand about Lord, and Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita that avajanyanti mam modha manusim tanumasritam. So those who are having less intelligence, they cannot understand me, and how my birth and activities are divine, that is very difficult for people to understand, those who do not have faith. So, in the same lines, when Krishna takes birth as Krishna and also as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also does activities like any ordinary small child does. So we'll see few of the pastimes which are similar to any normal child that takes birth, and then they kind of do the same thing. And here it is distinguished that when Lord comes, he does the pastime, how it is different than a normal baby performing any of his activities. So, just like any baby, first they starts to turn upside down. So normally a child is lying on his back, and then when they get little active, and then they turn upside down. And while Mother Sachi was feeding him, and she observes that there are different marks on the foot of the Lord, baby Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So she sees all those marks, like there are fish marks, there is chakra, and then there is conch shell and vajra, and all these marks she is finding, and she is astonished. She is thinking it is very amazing, it is very unusual that a baby born with these footprints, and then of course they are aware of these things, that anyone has these footprints are signs of Lord Vishnu. So she tells Jagannath Mishra that this is something very amazing I am seeing, that the foot of this baby have these marks, and Jagannath Mishra also sees the admits that when he is moving around, then they find some jingling sounds, even though the baby doesn't have the ankle bells on the ankle. So, and they also confer some situations where they find the footprints on their home, and Jagannath Mishra assumes that maybe the Saligram Sila is performing pastimes in their houses. So things like that, they but still their Vatshalya is overtaken, and their awe and reverence being him the Lord is completely overtaken, and then they just forget that this baby can be incarnation of Lord or Lord himself. So they totally ignore that, and then they just see intermittent things repeatedly, all these things, but then they still all those things don't make any much of impact on their Vatshalya prem what they have for the child. So one time Mother Sachi was talking to Jagannath Mishra, and then both were saying that seeing the footprints of the the lotus the feet marks, all these marks they were observing on the foot, and after some time they start to see that there are small teethings that is appearing in the mouth of Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya, Nimai, and like this, the when the soul is seen with the different divine symbols, then Nilambar Chakravarti, then Jagannath Mishra thinks to call Nilambar Chakravarti for a horoscope, because Nilambar Chakravarti is the father of Sachimata, and then he is an astrologer, and then he is being called for to find out what is the calculation of the futures of this boy. So he comes, and then he observes the bodily symptoms of this boy, of Nimai, and he says that all the symptoms of a great personality, Mahapurush, are seen in this boy. So there are 32 bodily symptoms of a great personality that is understood through the scriptures. So they are mentioned as 5 of the bodily parts are large, 5 fine, 7 reddish, 6 raised and 3 small, and 3 broad and 3 grave. So like that there are 32 parts of the body. And Nilambar Chakravarti foretells that these are the symptoms of Lord Narayan. The palms and the soles are reddish, and he will deliver the 3 worlds. He will be the means to he will udhar karenge, he will deliver the whole world. So the child will preach the cult of Vaishnava philosophy, Vaishnava theology, and he will be the means to deliver both the maternal side and the paternal side of the families. So he says that he is proposing a name giving ceremony, and then he is telling that you should celebrate, you should make a festival and should celebrate, and call Brahmins and give auspicious donations and make feast. So that's how post gaurpurnima we have Nandoshav, we have Jagannath Mishra Feast Festival, where Jagannath Mishra is giving out a feast. So Nilambar Chakravarti, Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra understood him, understood properly that he is Lord himself, but still their paternal affection goes much beyond of their physical understanding. So Nilambar Chakravarti starts giving him various names. He says that he'll be protecting the entire world, and that's how he'll be called as protect and maintain the entire world. So he'll be known as Vishwambar. He'll be known as he who will sustain the Vishwa or the universe. So protection and maintenance is done by the Lord. Creation and destruction is done by Brahma and Mahesh, but protection and sustenance are both done by Vishnu or Krishna himself. So by hearing the Nilambar Chakravarti's Bhavishyavani, Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra, they become greatly jubilant, they become very happy, and they start inviting all the Brahmanas and their wives to their houses, and then they observe a great name giving ceremony and a big festival. And after some days, the baby Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he starts to crawl on his knees, and in the house of Jagannath Mishra, various things were seen. Various things were seen means they were observing very sweet and different pastimes done by the Lord. So one time there was on the courtyard of the Jagannath Mishra. So Nimai crawls out to the courtyard, and then he sees a snake, and then he grabs to the snake and pulls the snake towards him. And that time no elders were there around. So the snake comes and then coils around, and Nimai peacefully sleeps on the snake's coil. So normally normally it's behavior of snake that anybody who tries to touch or go near, they kind of bite or attack. But here the snake was is different type. So this snake is basically none other than Ananta says, who came to see the Lord in his childish form and also render him some service. But when the parents came out to see where is the baby, then they saw that the baby is sleeping in the coils of a snake. They got very much worried. They got very much afraid. So somehow the snake, the Anansis could understand that they are all afraid of the whole thing. So the snake slowly crawls out, leaving the baby aside. And then they pick up Nimai and take home. And sometimes Nimai would start to cry loudly. And when he starts to cry loudly, they would, all the neighboring ladies would come together and they would try to appease Nimai by giving several things. Somebody would get them some sweets, sandesh and other sweets and all that, and toys and making noise and just like we do to pacify the babies, but nothing will work. So and suddenly somebody got an idea that okay, let us chant the name. So they loudly chanted the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So they chanted, they clapped, and then they kind of did kirtan. So as soon as the kirtan started, Nimai stopped crying. So in the plea of crying, he would induce people to chant the holy name by into a kind of sankirtan. So this would be a normal phenomenon that he would just cry suddenly, randomly, and then all people would gather around and they would start sankirtan, and he would be pacified, he would keep quiet. But one day, suddenly it happened like so. Okay, before that, basically, when he starts to slowly from crawling, he starts to move his leg and slowly walk with the support. Uh, and he started to play with various other neighboring children. And Sachimata would bring them a plate full of lot of sweetmeats, of various types, and then she would put it in front of them, and all the children would surround, and then they all eat the sweets. So the one day the child did what? The moment the sweetmeats were kept, and the mother left, and Sachimata left after keeping the sweets, and then suddenly Nimai starts to pick up a handful of dirt and then starts to eat. So suddenly Mother Sachi's attention comes, and then she is panicked like why he is eating dirt. So she comes and then snatches the dirt from the hands of the Nimai, and then she is telling, why you are eating dirt? You have been given so many nice food stuff, why you are eating dirt? So child is crying, and then he is saying that why you are angry on me? What is the problem eating dirt? This dirt and these sweets and this food, everything is dirt only, everything is same. Why you are chastising me? Why you are angry on me? So he is saying, खाइए संदेश अन्न एक मैत्र विकार एको माटी सेहो माटी यही भेद विचार. So he is saying, ये मिट्टी है, ये everything is मिट्टी only, everything is dirt only. So why you are chastising me? So he is saying, माटी देह माटी भक्ष्य देह को विचारी अविचार देह दोष की बोलिते पारी. So this body is made up of earth, mitti. These food stuffs are made up of earth. They are also transformations of earth only. And you are not thinking. You are not thinking, and you are not analyzing, and you are unnecessarily making me. You are unnecessarily accusing me. So what is my fault? What can I say? This is not my fault. So here Prabhupada gives a big purport saying that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is indirectly propounding a here he is presenting a Mayavad philosophy, saying that everything is one, everything is Brahman, and the mitti, the soil, the transformation of food, the body, everything is one, and there is no difference between any of these things. There is no so everything is one, all is oneness. So but Sachimata is refuting now in a beautiful way. So Sachimata is saying that she is astonished that this much small child is talking Mayavadi philosophy, and she is astonished that how can you speak like this, and who has taught you all this? So normally such a young age, it is difficult for someone to even fathom that this is same, that is same. They eat dirt not because of hungry, or they just eat that. They might like the smell, or it's like just put it something in the mouth. So whatever comes in the mouth, they put it in the childhood. So, but here he is doing with a logic, with a reason. Lord is doing with a reason that I am eating dirt because everything is a transformation of dirt. So Mother is replying, Mother Sachi is replying that, see, if you eat the foods that is prepared properly, that will nourish you. And even if these foods are transformation of dirt, but still if you eat dirt, you will become sick. You will fall sick. So normally people don't eat dirt, they eat food stuff. So otherwise there would not have been so much of effort going in growing food, preparing food, cooking, would have been all eating dirt only. If the dirt would have been nourishing all of us, then it would have been just, it would have been very easy that you just eat dirt and be satisfied. There is no need of agriculture, fruits, vegetables, plants, grains, dal, and so many things, and then over and above cooking, and so much of arrangement would have been saved if you would have just eaten dirt. But here Sachimata is making a point that if you eat foodstuffs, it will nourish you, and if you eat mati, then it will become, you will become sick. And so there is a possibility that you may get sick, and people may die. So but dirt in its crude form is not very good. So she is giving another example that if I want to take water, and if I pour water on the soil will absorb water, it will become moist, but I cannot carry water by putting water in the soil. But same soil, if it is transformed to a pot, given a shape, I can carry water very easily, and I can use it for cooking and other things also. So the dirt in its crude form is not of use for direct uses of us, in the sense that you cannot eat it, you cannot carry water from in that and all that. So and if I put water and if I put anything else, then it is all my labor is getting wasted. So the Lord is replying now that why did you not tell me this before? If you would have told me this before, I would not have eaten dirt. So thank you for telling me, and now onwards, whenever I'll be hungry, I'll drink your milk. I will not eat dirt. And that's what he is confessing now. And then he gets onto the lap of Mother Sachi and starts to drink milk. So these kind of childhood pastimes and exhibiting such opulences, here even though he is expressing his so-called ignorance, but he is actually making a profound point that Mayavad philosophy is no good. So one day one Brahmana happens to come by, and then he comes to Mother Sachi's house, and then Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra and Vishwarup, they all were there, and then he comes, and then they invite him to the house, and he says that I don't eat outside, so they give him all the ingredients, so he starts to cook. So he starts to cook, and then on his own, and then he makes an offering, makes a plate, and then he prepares the offering, and then he starts to chant his Gopal mantra for invoking the Lord, and then offering it to him. So as soon as the plate is made ready, suddenly Nimai, so it is mentioned that Nimai comes there clothed in 4 directions. That means he had no clothes. So he directly comes, and then the Brahmana's eyes are closed. He is still chanting the mantra, and suddenly Nimai comes. He picks a handful of food from the offering plate, and then he starts to eat right in front of the Brahmana. And after chanting the mantras, when the Brahman opens the eyes, he sees Nimai standing there with a morsel of food in his hand, and then he is eating. And the Brahman is surprised. How can, in a civilized Brahmana family like this, how can such a thing happen? And he is like exclaiming, hi, hi, and the child has spoiled my offering. So suddenly Jagannath Mishra comes around, and how can he know that, there is a food here? You have been already given sufficient food before. Again you are after somebody else's food. He is preparing his food, and he wants to offer to his Lord, and then he wants to eat. Why you are eating his food? So he picks up Nimai and takes him. And then the Brahmana says that, it's okay, I'll take some fruits and probably Lord doesn't want me to eat today, so let me take some fruits and roots. Then, but Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata, they earnestly request the Brahman again to cook, and he cleans the whole place. So basically, I mean, in the kitchen does the whole cleaning, and again starts setting up the whole thing, and again new ingredients are provided, and again he starts to cook. So he cooks his things, and then after the cooking is done, so this time Nimai was on guard. Mother was holding, and Nimai was taken to the neighboring house, and all the ladies were around him, and then they were all chanting the names, and they were all like Sankirtan was going on, and then Nimai was dancing amongst them. So now this Brahmana is preparing his food, and then he is preparing the offering plate, and then he starts to offer again. So when he starts to offer again, somehow by escaping the vision of all these ladies in the neighborhood, Nimai again escapes there and then comes here, and again he takes the food. So while he is chanting the mantra, still he picks the food in his hand and then starts to eat. So again when the Brahmana sees, he is again surprised. So he's this time like, I mean, first time it happened, it's okay, by mistake it must have happened, but then now again this happened. So he's kind of more surprised that, Jagannath Mishra is aware of this, Sachimata is aware of this. They told him that this will not happen again. They have taken Nimai to some other place, and they are supposed to take care of him properly so that this doesn't happen again. So he's kind of worried again. So he again comes and then starts to eat the food. So again he shouts out, hi, again this child has spoiled my offering. Again Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata comes running. And how come he comes to this place again and again? And we have kept you there, and and all the ladies were absorbed in the names, and then he just escapes. Nobody is aware that he has left that place. So again, now this time, Jagannath Mishra tells that I will put him in lock and key, put him in the room, lock it, and then. So this time again they request this. This is like already getting late now. And he says, no, I am not willing to cook anymore. I think Lord has his own plans that I want to eat only fruits today. So don't worry, I'll manage, it's not a problem. I'm used to it, I'm roaming all around Dale, so I don't get normally food. So I'm used to eat, just give me fruits, I'll manage, it's not a problem. But that time Biswarup comes. So he again starts to request the Brahman that no, please, last time, please, I mean, if you don't cook, we'll feel bad. How can you come and not cook and eat hungry and go hungry like this? It's not good. So again they request. So seeing the beautiful form of Vishwarup, the Brahman actually gets mesmerized, and then he's not able to deny his request. So after the request, then again he cleans up the whole place. Now Jagannath Mishra is telling Sachidevi that I am sitting at the door, you be in the room and lock the room from inside, and I am also locking from outside. So you you take care of him inside the room, and I am sitting outside of the room, so that nothing happens this time. So again Brahmana cooks, and then by this time his cooking is over. It's like kind of late night, and after his cooking is over, then he is again preparing a plate, and again he is making the offering by chanting his mantra. So now this time again what happens? So Nimai was totally asleep, completely asleep while his mother was there, and mother and both were asleep, totally asleep. And now when Nimai comes out and then he sees this, now again the Brahman shouts. So hi, how this again happened? You people are not able to take care of a small boy. How this is again happening? But this time nobody is awake. Everybody is asleep. So they are deep asleep, and then nobody is able to hear. And here Nimai is telling that you are preparing the offering for me and you are calling my name. I am coming and eating your food. So what is my problem? What is my mistake? So you are calling me, I am coming. I am coming and you are giving me food, I am eating. So you are giving me food and I am eating, and you are saying again why you are eating. So this is not logical. I mean, you are calling me, you are inviting a guest, you are telling him to eat, and when he is eating, you are telling why you are eating. So this is not proper. And then he shows his Krishna form and Bal Gopal form, and then the Brahmanas, the worshipable Lord, was seen there. And when he sees that form, he goes into ecstasy. He goes into like mad. He feels like, oh my God, Krishna is staying right in their house and nobody is aware. You know, Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra, and they are so fortunate, they are so lucky that Lord himself is staying in their house and they are not aware. And they are treating him as small child. But Lord says that you have seen this form, now you should not tell this to anyone. And you should just keep quiet, and then you just like as if nothing has happened. So, and then the Lord takes the food, and then Lord leaves. And after the Lord leaves, and then he goes to sleep again back into his room, like with Mother Sachi. And the Brahmana is in ecstasy, and then he is not able to control, he is not able to come to his senses, and then he is like taking the food, he is smearing on his all on his body, all the prasad, and then he is dancing, he is chanting the names loudly, shouting, nobody is able to hear, and then he is very happy, and then he takes his prasad and leaves. So every day he would, so then on, normally this Brahmana used to go around many places. So mendicants, like they go to a place, they stay for some time, and then they move on to a different place. But this Brahmana, for the rest of his life, he never leaves Navadvip. Every day he comes, hidingly he takes darshan of the Lord, and then he is happy taking the darshan of the Lord like that. So one time Mother Sachi does a lot of decoration. She decorates the Nimai very beautifully, puts a lot of ornaments and beautiful garlands, and really dresses him very nicely. And he's playing in the courtyard. Suddenly from nowhere 2 thieves come, and then they see that the child is having a lot of ornaments. Wow. So if we take all these ornaments, then probably we don't need to steal for the rest of our life. So our lives will be peaceful, and will also remain peacefully. So let us take this boy and take to our place and give him some sandesh and sweetmeats, and then he'll be quiet. So they come to the boy. They give him some sweets. The Nimai takes the sweets, and then he starts to eat. They starts to jump, and then they take him to their arms, and they start to move. Both of them, they start to move. So they were on the way to their hiding place, their place wherever they wanted to go. So what happens is, like, they keep on moving, and towards the, so when Nimai is missing from the house, Jagannath Mishra, Sachimata, and all the neighboring people were totally worried that what has happened to Nimai and who has taken him away. And again something has happened, or somebody has taken him away, or how he has gone out. So they were all searching him frantically, and these 2 thieves, they just took him on the shoulder, and then they kept on moving. So they kind of roamed around the whole town, and towards the end of the day they landed in the same place as the Sachimata's place, where they picked up the boy. And all the people, they suddenly saw Nimai, and they were like coming here, and they were kind of thanking the thieves that thank you for getting Nimai back. But these thieves were like thinking, oh my God, they are coming to us, and then they'll catch us, they'll beat us. They just dropped Nimai, and then they run away. but they were running behind him to catch the thieves. The thieves were thinking that they are running behind me to catch, but they are running behind to give them gifts. That thank you for getting us Nimai back. So this is how Nimai tricked the two thieves, who were actually planning to steal away the ornaments, but actually they did a service to the Lord. They performed direct devotional service to the Lord by taking Nimai on their shoulder and giving him a free ride on the entire Navadvip Dham. So even though the Lord was very attractive in his own features, even without clothes he was very attractive, but still he was very attractive with all these ornaments. So ornaments made him attractive, and then also he gave him the benefit of devotional service to the thieves. So one day on a Ekadasi day, Nimai starts to feel sickly. He pretends to feel sick, and he says that I will not eat these normal food, and somebody is preparing some. He's giving the address that in that place there are two devotees, two Brahmanas, Hiranya and Jagadish. They are preparing a very nice food stuff for the Lord Vishnu, and he wants to eat that. So he's not telling all these details that they are preparing a nice food stuff, but he's telling that I want to eat what they are preparing. That is my medicine. I'm sick now. If I eat that, I'll become okay. So they are thinking. The baby has never gone out to see that place. How far is that? And they find out that is on the other side of the river, and they somehow locate that place, and then Nimai is taken there. So all the time Nimai was kind of crying and harping, I want to go there, like that. So once they reach that place, they ask Jagadisha and Hiranya, who is preparing Prasad for Vishnu today? So they are telling, we are preparing. So how do you know? This boy told that you are preparing food for Vishnu and then he wants to eat the offering. So how this boy comes to know? So they were also astonished, and by understanding the supreme mystical power of the Lord. Of course, in this incarnation, the Lord never tells that I am Krishna himself, even though a lot of scriptures they tell. And in some close association, he mentions that I am Lord Shiva, I am Brahma, I am Vishnu, I am Narsingha, I am Vamana, I am Kurma. So in some places he goes into the Mahabhava and then he expresses that. But usually in this incarnation, he has never mentioned that I am Vishnu or I am Lord openly. So by seeing this kind of pastimes, Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata were very much astonished that this kind of supernatural powers this small boy has. And when Nimai started to play with other small children, he goes to other neighboring houses and starts to steal things from their houses. So Prabhupada is mentioning that this stealing propensity is there in Krishna himself. So that's how the stealing propensity has come in this world, in this material creation also. So of course, when Krishna steals, it is not like stealing from someone for his benefit. So since everything belongs to him, so what he is going to steal for whose benefit? So whatever is created by him, and he is stealing just to create a exchange of love between the people. And again, children normally fight for small things, maybe toys or maybe a pen or pencil or something. They also fight. So here also he is fighting with other children, and he goes to other people's, neighboring people's houses, and he would sometime, to their children, he would chastise them, he would beat them, and come back. And other neighboring people would come to Sachimata, and then they would tell that, Nimai is doing all this, he's kind of chastising our people, our children. When he sees, and then he tries to steal all the foodstuffs, and if he doesn't find any foodstuff, he breaks the pots. And if he doesn't find anything, he goes to our babies and pinches them, makes them cry. The child is sleeping peacefully, and then he makes him cry. And sometimes he pours water in the ears of the children, small children. So all kinds of things he is doing. So these things, what is done by Nimai, again, because he is the absolute truth, and everything is done on an absolute level. So whether he is stealing or whether he is doing a mischief or a naughty activity, it is on an absolute level, and it is not a mistake, so as to for anybody of us would do. So if any of us go to a neighboring place and then pick up something and come out, so they might call us a thief or somebody stealing. But when Krishna does, that is on an absolute level, and it is not kind of stealing, or it is not stealing. But the origin of the propensity of stealing is coming from the spiritual world. So Sachimata, they would all complain to Sachimata, and then Sachimata would assembly, shamefully she would admit that, okay, it is his fault, forgive him, and kind of. But she would again rebuke Nimai, saying that, why you are doing all this? You have sufficient food stuff in your house. Why you are going to the neighboring house and stealing their food? I have not given you sufficient food. Are you hungry? If you are hungry, you tell me how much of the food you want, I will give you. Why you are going to neighboring people and troubling them? So Sachimata is chastising, and like this, Sachimata takes Nimai on her lap, and sometimes Nimai would slap with his small hands, slap Sachimata, like babies do. So Sachimata acted like fainted. So Nimai just give a small, murdu slap, and then Sachimata falls fainted, and Nimai thinks, oh my God, what happened? My mother, something happened, and then he starts to cry. And all the neighboring ladies come, and then they say, they all know what Sachimata did, she's just acting. So they tell that you go immediately bring 2 coconuts, and we'll give the coconuts to mother, and then she'll be okay. So he runs out, and then somehow gets 2 coconuts, and then brings coconuts, and then they give the coconuts to mother, and then the mother is back. So like this, seeing these pastimes performed by Nimai, Lord Chaitanya in baby form, childhood form, all the Navadvipasis were very astonished, very surprised, and very happy at the same time. So even though they were complaining about his activities to Mother Sachi and Jagannath Mishra, they were enjoying complaining that. They were liking, just like when Krishna used to steal butter from the neighboring places, and then other gopis would come and complain to Mother Yasoda. So Mother Yasoda would tell that, okay, from tomorrow onwards I will bind Krishna so that he can never go outside. But gopis will tell, no, don't bind him. Why? We are preparing butter so that he can steal. So you are complaining that he is stealing. No, we are enjoying complaining. So they are enjoying complaining, and they also want the butter to be stolen, and they also want that they should come and explain whatever they have seen, or whatever Nimai and Krishna has done. So they would all enjoy like this. So one time the small children would go to take bath in the Ganges, And the neighboring girls also would go to Mother Ganga and take bath, and they would come with lot of foodstuffs, grains and flowers and garlands and leaves, so that they would come, they take bath, and then they would worship Lord Shiva so that they get a good husband. So Nimai would see that all these girls have come. So all these girls are sitting in a place and they are preparing their own offering. So Nimai would go sit in between them and pick up the offerings and start to eat, and take the garlands and put the garland on his neck, and then take the sandalwood pulp and apply on his body everywhere. And these girls were like, oh my God, these offerings were meant for him, and then he is taking all these, you know. So the girls would say, why you are doing this? This is not an offense to the devatas. You are doing an offense to the devatas. If you are taking their offering, they will curse you. So he is saying, the Nima is saying that I am Shiva, I am Brahma. So whoever you are worshipping, I are all the devatas, they are all my servants. So you worship me, you give all the food stuff to me, you put the garland on me, you put the sandalwood pulp on me. So all these Durga, all the whatever gods you are worshipping, they are all my servants. So you worship me, I will give you full all benedictions. So what he does, he eats all the foodstuffs that is brought by all the girls, takes the garland, and then he blesses them, saying that you will have a wealthy, handsome, intelligent husband, and you will all have seven sons. Well, nobody has offered him anything. He has just taken the whole thing. Imagine you are coming for Rajbhog to the altar. Before you put the plate, the Lord takes the whole plate and eats. So it's like before even offering, the Lord has taken the entire thing and he has enjoyed the whole thing, and then now he is happy and giving the benedictions, whatever the girls wanted. But some girls were afraid that he does this every day, and then some girls were running far off with all their offerings and all. So all those girls who are running away, Nimai is calling them, if you don't give me your offering, you will be married to a old man with 4 co-wives. So they all come running, you never know who is a Brahmana boy, he may be incarnation, or he may be empowered, or he may be seeing the futures, let us give him all the things, who knows what will happen in future. So they all come, and then they, okay, you take. So they give him all the offering, they put the garland on him, they put the sandal purple on him, and then he eats all that, and then he says, good, thank you very much for coming and giving me all your offerings. So I change my benediction now. So you will have very good husband, beautiful, handsome, intelligent, wealthy, and with 7 sons. So like that he used to do. So even though the girls were telling that, in the village relationship you are just like our brother, but why you are torturing us like this? But he is saying that no, even though you are like my sisters, but by my benediction will come true, don't worry. So I am a Pandit, and you will also get a Pandit husband, like that. So like this he would do many pastimes, and the girls were kind of happy from inside that we got such nice benedictions, that our husband will be like this, and that too from a Brahmana boy, and Brahmana is uttering these benedictions. So but externally they were kind of rebuking Nimai, that you keep doing these things, and Prabhupada is mentioning that this is the nature of a feminine side, that they are kind of satisfied inside, but they kind of express their dissatisfaction from outside. That is, and this kind of expression is appreciated by the husbands or the males. That is Prabhupada is giving here. And this is a nice purport, Adila chapter 1458, maybe I can go through that, 58 and 59 like that. So, one day while roaming around, Vallabhacharya's daughter, Lakshmi Devi, she comes to the bank of Ganges for worshipping the demigods, to take a bath and worshipping the demigods. So, this Lakshmi is mentioned to be formerly Janaki or Sita Mata, who was wife of Lord Ramchandra, and Rukmini, the wife of Krishna in Dwarka, and Lakshmi, and here now she is coming as Lakshmi, Lakshmi Priya. So, when Lord sees Lakshmi and Lakshmi also sees the Lord, they their eyesights meet, and then their they are basically eternal concepts. So their natural attraction for each other develops, and then the Lord tells that the Lord is very satisfied by seeing Lakshmi Devi, and Lakshmi Devi is also satisfied by seeing the Lord, and the Lord is appealing that whatever you have, you offer it to me, and their natural love is awakened, but still covered by their childhood emotions, and it was apparent that they were both attracted to each other, and the Lord says that whatever you have, you just worship me, and then Lakshmi takes all the paraphernalia, whatever she has, she offers to Nimai, and then puts the garland and gives all the foodstuffs, and the Lord eats them, and then he is very happy. So Lakshmi is smiling, and then Kaviraj Goswami is quoting a verse from the Bhagavatam where the gopis wanted to accept Krishna as their husband, and Krishna accepts them as their husband by doing the Chiraharan Lila. And with these feelings towards each other, Lakshmi and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they returned to home, and here she said that who can understand the grave pastimes of the Lord? Grave pastimes in the sense that one is the Lord is doing multifarious types of pastimes. Few are joking, few are serious, few are philosophical and debate oriented. There are many kinds of pastimes that the Lord does depending on the time, place, circumstances, and of course to make a point or to make a philosophical point at certain times. At the same time, all the pastimes what the Lord is doing are very sweet and at the same time very attractive. And so one day the Mother Sachi, seeing the naughty behavior of Lord Chaitanya, she complains, like neighboring people start to complain, and then Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra. Sachimata is now quite a kind of angry, and then she chastises Nimai, and then starts to take a stick and then try to beat him, and then runs behind him. And but Nimai runs away, and he runs away, and then he goes to a pit of a place where the broken pots are all piled up, and then Nimai goes and sits on that. And then when Sachimata is seeing that why you are sitting there, it's a dirty place, it's all used pots, used cooked pots, they are all broken, dirty. So here again he is making a point that how can you say it is dirty? So his mother is saying that go and take bath in Ganges, get purified and come back to home. So he is saying that how can you say they are dirty? They are not dirty. They are prepared for Lord Vishnu. So anything that is in contact with Lord Vishnu is pure. So if these foodstuffs are prepared for Lord Vishnu and they are offered to Lord Vishnu, so they are essentially pure. So whatever is there in that is prasad and it is pure, and I am sitting on a pure place. I am not sitting on a dirty place. So, but still, here he is saying the absolute knowledge, but still amazed by him, but still Sachimata pulls Nimai out of that place, and then he is made to go to Ganga and take bath and come. So normally there is a tradition that earthen pots are not used second times. So whatever is cooked in that earthen pot, the pot is offered as it is to the Lord, and the same thing is still practiced in Jagannath Puri. And the pot is directly from the kitchen goes to the altar. From the altar it goes to the serving place, the Anand Bazaar, and from there only it is distributed, and the pot goes out from there. So the pot never comes back for its reuse, and then it is basically broken and goes back to the soil. But the principle is that anything that is used once for the Lord's service, that is never used again, especially the earthen pots. So Mother Sachi would lie down with Nimai to go to sleep, and then she would see dreams that the entire room is filled with heavenly denizens coming and praying and giving worship and giving gifts to Nimai. The entire house was dazzling with a lot of brightness and light. And sometimes Mother Sachi would call that, you go call your father, call Jagannath Mishra. And then he would go and then call his father. And while going, they would hear ankle bells ringing. But there were no ankle bells. They had put on Nimai, but then the ankle bells were ankle bell ringing sound was coming. And all of them were kind of struck with wonder. And Nimai calls Jagannath Mishra, and then Sachimata tells that, this is the thing I see when I am sleeping. I am seeing these things in dream. So Jagannath Mishra also tells that this is a very wonderful incident, that we are hearing the ankle bells of the some child moving in the room. But we have my child's feet are all bare. There are no ankle bells to the child. But how come the ankle bell sound is coming? Then Mother is explaining that I am also seeing something, celestial beings coming and worshipping him. And Jagannath Mishra is also saying that he also says that one time he goes to sleep, and one person comes to his dream, and that person says that, how can you chastise your son? Your son is Lord Narayan himself, your son is Lord Vishnu himself, his son is Krishna himself, how can you chastise him? But Jagannath Mishra is telling that I am his father, so if I don't correct him, who will correct him? So if he grows old and then he'll grow with these bad habits, so that is not good for him. So I am his father, so I should correct him. This is my duty. So then the Brahmana is saying that no, it is not proper. You don't know who is your son. Your son is very great personality, and you should behave with him properly. You should not chastise him like this. It is not proper. But still, Jagannath Mishra says that, see, whether my son is Narayan, whether my son is an ordinary boy, it is the duty of me. He is my son, and if he does a mistake, I will chastise him. If he does anything wrong, I will correct him. So this is the duty of the father, and whether even if he is Narayan, I don't care. So like that, the Vatshalya of both the parents are so much overwhelmed that they don't see the godhood side of Nimai, and that's what makes Nimai release the parental relationship with them. And that's why he always wants, Nanda and Yashoda and Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra to be the parents, because their parental love is so much intense that they totally forget that the boy is God or the boy is, Narayan himself. So the Brahmana says sometimes that he is full of all knowledge, he is full of perfect knowledge. What is the point of you giving him education? What is the point you teaching him? He is already perfect. He has no defects. He is free from all defects. He is not an ordinary human being. There is no point educating him like this. But all these things don't matter anything to Jagannath Mishra. Today is also what? Happiness Day? Disappearance. Yeah, disappearance happens to be disappearance day of Madhavendra Puripad. So Madhavendra Puri is the spiritual master of Ishwar Puri, who is the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this incident is narrated by Lord Nityananda when they go on a trip to Remuna, and when they are in Remuna, Lord Nityananda explains this to all the pilgrims that accompany him to that during that time. So we'll just mention the whole thing briefly, that when this is the time when Madhavendra Puri was sitting in Vrindavan in a place, and he's sitting on a rock, and then he's he's doing his japa, chanting. He's on sannyasa robes, having his staff and saffron cloth and all that, and he's chanting, and it's almost near morning, and then he happens to see a dream that he says that I'm nearby this. Actually, before that, a boy comes, and then he says that he's hungry. Basically, Madhavendra Puri takes a vow that vow means he doesn't ask for food. So if somebody gives food, he will take. If nobody gives food, he will not take. It's not that he was starving and then complaining that nobody is giving him food. What kind of people these are? They are not seeing that the sannyasi has come and he is hungry and he has not asked food for anyone. He is not thinking anything in his mind like this. So normally it may happen to us if something happens like that, but he is completely absorbed in holy name and thoughts of Krishna, and Krishna came to Madhavendra Puri 3 times in his dreams to take his service. So first time he comes in his dream here, where he says that I am been hidden in these bushes. You please take me out with the help of these villagers, and you establish me on top of the hill of the Govardhan hill, and then you establish the procedure of worship. And that's how. Then when he wakes up, he finds that this is the same boy who came for giving me the milk, and then he gets all the nearby villagers, and then he goes to the place where the indication was made, and he helps cut all the bushes and thorny things out, and then he finds a beautiful Gopal deity there, and the deity was very it is basically muddy and all dirt was on that, and the deity was not able to be lifted by very huge men. Even the wrestler type of people were not able to lift him. Again, Madhavendra Puri goes to help lifting them. So during all these things, Madhavendra Puri has been the main focus made in this entire pastime, because the Lord wanted to glorify his devotee and the sacrifice and the love of Madhavendra Puri throughout this entire episode. So Madhavendra Puri also helps picking the deity, and then he takes the deity to the top of the hill, and then he requests people to get their pots and take water from the nearby ponds, and then they do abhishek of the deity. So the deity had told that I have been in these bushes since long time and I am feeling very hot. So I want a good bath. So they pour kind of 108 pots, not like that we do, small pots, big pots. Cool, refreshing water was poured as abhishek, plus other paraphernalia like milk and other things. So the abhishek was done, and then he takes few of his disciples, and then he puts them in charge of maintaining the entire deity worship standards, making offerings, preparing food, and all that. And when Madhampuri starts that, and then that kind of festival also goes for a long time. Every village comes one time, and then they start to do that repeatedly for a long time. And then Gopal comes to his dream, and then he says that I am still feeling very hot. I want you to get sandalwood and camphor from the Malay region of India, and then you apply them on me, then I will feel cool. So hearing that mission, so again this is the mission given to a devotee. So Krishna normally has given indications of various standards of service in scriptures, like how do you do deity worship, and how do you do service to deities, how do you do and then in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says that those who preach my message, they are most dear to me. So here he is not telling Madhavendra Puri to preach, he is telling Madhavendra Puri to do a personal service, which is very, very rare. Krishna normally doesn't tell people to for a personal service, and for a very special people only he tells that. And when Madhavendra Puri was told that you get the sandalwood and camphor, so he goes with few people, he empowers, he and establishes the temple there where the Gopal deity was installed, and he puts his disciples in charge, and then in charge of the services, and then he leaves for the Malaya hills. So during that time, wherever you go, I mean, there used to be, just like, I mean, nowadays, up till some time before the GST came, there were octroi gates. There used to be, checkposts where you have to pay some amount to move ahead or take something across the border and all that. So now he is going from Vrindavan to all over to the state of Kalinga. So he has to pass many borders, and it's not that that time some vehicular arrangements were there. At best, bullock carts were there, but he didn't have that also. He was just walking. So it took quite long time, several days basically, of walking to reach that place. And he goes there, and then takes all the sandalwood, and he goes there, and he reaches Remuna. So while in Remuna, he sees that I think this is after that, right? So he gets the sandalwood pulp and camphor, and he comes to Remuna, and then in Remuna again, Remuna there is a deity called Kheer Chor Gopinath. So the present name Kheer Chor Gopinath has come after this pastime. So Madhavendra Puri was there, and then the pujari of the deity usually offer 12 pots of kheer, and that kheer is called Amrita Keli. I am not going to go into very detail, just few minutes. So that offering is called Amrita Keli, and the pujari goes and offers that Amrita Keli to the Lord, and then Madhavendra Puri, thinking in his mind that if I get to taste this Amrita Keli, then maybe I'll prepare such food and then offer it to Gopal in my place. So thinking, I mean, of course, the Gopinath here and Gopal there are the same personality. So he's thinking in his mind, and Lord is there in everyone's heart, and his pure intentions are very clear for both, for him also and for the Lord also. But after thinking like this, he thought, how can I think something like this even before the offering is made? So he feels very bad, and then he moves to a lonely place. And in the meantime, the pujari removes the offering, and then he closes the temple and then goes to sleep. In the dream of that pujari, he comes, the Gopinath comes, and then he says that, my devotee Madhavendra Puri is there, so I have hidden a pot for him behind me, which you could not find while removing the offering. So you go, take that offering and give it to Madhavendra Puri. So for the benefit of Madhavendra Puri, the Lord also chooses to come to the dream of this pujari also, who happens to be very fortunate again. So the pujari gets up, and then, who is this Madhavendra Puri? I have never heard his name. And then he does his things and then goes to the altar, and then he finds the pot. So, but he thought that I removed all the offerings. But Gopinath is saying that no, you thought you removed everything, but then I stole one and put it in my bag, so that I have saved it for him. So the pujari is very astonished, and then he takes that pot, and then he goes to the place, the marketplace, the lonely place, and then he says, who is Madhavendra Puri? Who is Madhavendra Puri? And then he is saying that Tomar karane Gopinath koila khir chori, something like that. So he says that for you the Lord has stolen kheer. Who are you and where are you? You please show up, you please come out, I want to give this gift the Lord has given for you. Then Madhavendra Puri comes out, and he gets the pot of the milk, and then the pujari prostrates, gives offering, gives dandot offering to Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri also bows down, and then he hands him the pot of kheer, and he tastes the kheer, and he is feeling like nectar has come, and he tastes the kheer, and then he saves the pot. He breaks the pot to small pieces, he ties them into a cloth, and then he keeps that. And again in another dream, after he collects the sandalwood and camphor, Gopinath again, the Gopal again comes to his dream that Gopinath and me are same, so you have already got the chandan and camphor, so you apply to Gopinath, I will get cool in Govardhan. Govardhan is actually very hot, but you apply to Gopinath here in Ramuna, so I will also feel cool there, so because I am the same. So here he again engages a lot of people to grind all the chandan, and all the chandan and camphor is applied to the Gopinath in deity here, and that's how the Lord is reciprocating with his very dear devotee Madhavendra Puri. So one very prominent thing that comes that pragada premete what is that? Swabhava achara nija dukha bigna adi na kare vichara. So whatever Madhavendra Puri has undergone, the difficulties during his travel, it was definitely not easy, but he did it out of pure love for the Lord, and because he did it out of pure love, and then the Lord repeatedly reciprocated with him. And even in our execution of our devotional service also we have experienced, it may be in a small way, but still because of that reciprocation only we are able to continue in our devotional service, because that's what is nourishing us, the smiling face of the Lord in the deity form, and we are offering, and then he is accepting, we are offering prayers, we are coming in front of him for different aartis and all that. So even in our discharge of devotional service, whatever little reciprocation that is received, that Krishna is bestowing on us for a very small minute way, that itself is the nourishment that keeps us in devotional service. And if that is not there, it would not be possible for us to sustain in the long run. And it is not possible for us to even continue for a long time. With that only it is possible for continuing in the devotional service. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Sri Madhavendra Puripad ki jai, Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Krishna Consciousness Goswami ki jai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Sri Prabhupada ki jai.